What I'm going to do is move that upper out of the way, and I'll take that base cabinet to the left, and I placed it where it's supposed to go. This is a custom China cabinet, and the brand is KraftMaid, and we purchased it at Lowe's. I'm showing you where the three screws are going to go. I've already got the wall marked where the studs are. You want to make sure these screws go into the stud. So what I'm doing right now is making sure that cabinet is level, all four corners. You want to make sure it's as level as you can get it. And I've got it, I already put shims underneath it, and I got it real nice and level. And also those shims in the back there by the wall is a little bit off. It's out of plumb. So you have to take these shims and make sure that the cabinet isn't drawn up to the wall, because then it'll be crooked. When you run those screws into the stud, it'll draw it right up to the wall, and if the wall's crooked, the cabinet will be, it won't be level. So you want to make sure you shim it if the wall's crooked. And most walls are not perfect. Okay, you notice I got one of the screws in right now, and it drew that shim right up on the left. It's nice and tight. Now that one to the right there, right behind the level, is still loose because there's no screw there. And I'm going to put a screw in. If you notice, see the mark on the wall? That's where the stud is. Those screws are 3 inches long. Actually, you got 3 1/4. So when they go into the wall, they'll definitely hold that cabinet in. It's not going to move. It draws it right up. Now you notice I've got 3 screws in here, one to the right, one to the left, and one in the center. Each one of them are on studs. And it's nice and tight. You notice I'm trying to pull it loose, and you want to try and make sure it won't come loose. Now I'm taking a chisel, a wood chisel, and I'm going to basically cut it off with a chisel. And it'll snap right off. Now, if you see a little bit of wood there, all you got to do is just take the chisel and just push it down a little bit. And you want to make it nice and smooth, so when the granite goes on top, it's not in the way. And I'm going to do the same to that one on the left. Take a wood chisel, crack it a few times, and it should snap right off. If not, take the chisel and do it some more. That was nice and smooth, yeah. Now you notice I've got the granite on there, and pretty much it's perfect. You know, that bubble on that level is right in the center. You can't get it any better than that. It's perfect. You want to get it perfect because let's say you're like some pills or whatever, or whatever, it'll roll right off the granite if it's not level, and it will be annoying. So make sure it's level. What I'm doing now is I'm measuring the granite on each side to make sure it's exactly in the center. And there we go. And it's pretty close, but it's off just about 1/8 of an inch. And so I have to give it a little bit of shove to the right. Not even that much. It's just less than 1/8 of an inch. But anyway, that should do it right there. Now you'll see that it's exactly equal on both sides. Okay, what I'm going to do now is caulk it. That's clear and Pro Seal Max. It's really good caulk and it's clear, so it's nice to work with. And all you do is just cut the tip off at an angle a little bit. Get yourself a caulk gun. And basically, yeah, push the lever in, pull it back. And you notice there's a little wire there on the top of the caulk gun. That's to, after you cut the end off, you want to poke the end and you just run it back and forth to break loose the seal so the caulk will come out. And you really want to cut just a little bit off so you have a small bead. And what you want to do is just run a bead really basically on the front and on both sides, and then also on the back. And you just want to run a nice little bead there, and probably the best thing to do is wipe it off with a cloth and you know, anything that's excess. Okay, what I've done here is I've had to cut the drywall because there's a box up there with power, but I decided to have lighting in the bottom section of the upper and also the top section of the upper. This did not go to the base. It's just that way that whole upper will be lit up from a switch that's behind the wall. And so I basically had to run a couple pieces of Romex from the power box right there, and then I will wire those all together and have power on both sides. Okay, basically I've already put the handles on the uppers, and you notice there's no handles on the lower. That's an 18-inch depth base and 39 inches wide. But it's almost done. And you notice up at the top I got to put crown molding up. Okay, there's the crown molding there sitting right on the granite. And that will go all the way up the top and cover up that little bit of a crack. And I will use a pneumatic nailer to do that. You don't want to put that up any other way. You need a pneumatic nailer. Rent one if you don't have one. But you notice I have this crown molding already painted. I have it painted, primed, and also oil painted, and it's Dove white, the same as the cabinets. And it's already pre-cut, ready to put up. I will not show that in this video. It's pretty simple though. I'm showing you where it goes. But that pretty much wraps this project up. I hope you liked the video, and please subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Again, thank you very much.